Good evening. Remember, we got to turn it the landscape way. The coach, and I'm here with the legendary one, and then I have the man who got the baton and carried it even further than the leadoff man did. I got Coach Daniels, the original Coach Daniels, and now we got BJ Coach Daniels. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for being a part of INSiiGHTS.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Coach Daniels, Bruce, point guard.
Yes, sir.
Let me go back to what is really important. Just kind of share with everybody a little bit about the accomplishments of your son and what it means to have him coaching here in the city where he started from. Because for everybody who doesn't know it, unless you go back probably in the 1800s, we have been searching records and trying to find a father-son combination that's coached high school sports at the same time in two different sports. We hadn't found it. So we think this is just an incredible accomplishment that we wanted to bring to the attention of everybody.
All the credit for what BJ has done is first of all, God just giving him a special gift as an athlete. And then secondly, with his athletic ability, he has decided to share that athletic ability and his God-given knowledge of the sport with his community. I think that's ideal and great because there's other places that he could have used those gifts and those talents, and he decided that he would accept a position here in town. So excited about that, proud of that, and his journey is full circle because he started here in Tallahassee and he's returning to Tallahassee. And when he left here, there was a lot that he had to learn and still learning. And I think it's awesome that what he did learn, he's able to share that with the other young men that he will be hopefully working with in the next year to come.
I have an all-star celebrity basketball game. Various celebrities, guys like Marshawn Lynch, Benji Brown, the comedian, a couple of other of my teammates, about Brandon Thompson for the Cincinnati Bengals. Guys all around the NFL and the league I have good relationships with, and they're coming to Tallahassee to put on a basketball game, a charity basketball game, trying to raise money to help some of the community centers around Tallahassee because, one thing that we need to continue to do and keep in mind is keeping our youth out the streets. So I've been away, but I've understood that there's been a lot of, gang-related things and activities that have been going on. So the idea is to try to raise money and contribute to our community centers. So, the kids want to be inside instead of outside trying to find something else to do or something extra to do and get in trouble. So.
And I know that your family is a very Christian-based family. What influence has that been on you, BJ?
It's been huge because I've had the opportunity to, learn, growing up, that, God is the reason for most of or all the things that we've ever accomplished. And, I've developed a saying called "Only God." It's something I've used to put on my eye black when I played football at USF. It's something that I still talk about to this day. And, what it really means to me is, only God is the reason, for any and everything that I've, ever accomplished or, achieved in any facet or arena. So Those values were instilled in me, from a baby, as long as I can remember. At Bethel Baptist Missionary Church, there on Tennessee Street. So, Dr. Arby Holmes is our pastor, and he's done a great job in his leadership in the community, and it's really impacted and influenced me in a major way.
Why did you the only God? Talk some more about that.
It was a message that I really wanted to convey and really show, my faith and belief, when I was, playing football. Back in college football, when you were allowed to wear the eye blacks and put a message on there, it was just something I really felt like, at the time as a freshman in college, that's the message that I wanted to put out there. Every time I would score a touchdown or every time I would cross from the sideline onto the football field to continue the next series or the next plays or whatnot, I'd always pound my chest and point to the sky. And it's something that I've always done throughout my career, just to, acknowledge him.
And that just kind of goes back and kind of exemplifies something that I think everybody needs to understand, especially being an athlete with the success that you've had at so many different levels, is Coach Daniels, the humbleness of your son. You read so many things and see so many things about different athletes and how they handle it and don't handle it well. But he seems to be such a humble young man, which, you and your family had a direct hand in.
At the end of the day,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, please. I want to hear you.
Well, at the end of the day, I think all parents try to do the very best they can, and ideally, at the end of the day, you hope and pray that they hear you. And sometimes, as a parent, you talk so much, and you're like, man, this person's not hearing me. And then one day they'll come back to you and they'll show you. You hear probably coming from them coaching or doing some other things. You're like, man, so he did hear me. He did hear some of those things we were talking about. So, you just hope and pray that you can do the very best you can. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. You just, you kind of turn your kids over to God and say, look, I did all I can do. And so now, you brought him in the world, just give me some help to, hopefully he'll turn out the way we all can be proud of. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't work out, and sometimes it happens immediately, sometimes it happens as they get older. So,
well, it's a journey, and it's an ongoing process to be able to do that and to keep working with your children, your sons and daughters, and especially those who are competitive and in athletes, and then be able to do the requirements that you expect academically.
Right.
And then him being a role model for his sisters coming behind him.
Right. It's true.
We talked a little bit about him coming back and being from Tallahassee. The thing that I'm seeing is that you're receiving a lot of attention and notoriety, hometown boy coming back home. How much pressure does that put on you to be able to continue the program and how it's been going at Lincoln?
Of course, there are a lot of people who have great expectations of Lincoln High School, of the head coaching position, and myself included. But no one will put any more pressure on me than I put on myself. The biggest thing that I try to convey and make people understand is that I've had pressure in many areas and facets of my life, and obstacles and things to overcome. So whether it was being a freshman at Lincoln, where it all started as a freshman quarterback who, how does a kid from Deer Lake end up being the starting quarterback, a 4-year starter at Lincoln? That's pressure. From getting a scholar or trying to earn a scholarship and then eventually going to USF, that was pressure. From being the starting quarterback at a major university and then hoping to get drafted one day and breaking my ankle and still wanting to make it to the NFL, that's pressure. So at the end of the day, I've seen it all. I've experienced most of it. And, I'm still willing to learn and figure out what it is that I need to know to get better and become a good coach. But at the end of the day, no added pressure, that I'm wearing. You know, if anyone else feels pressure, I understand because they're nervous, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm. And Bruce, having been through the wars as you have, and you know, I know you've learned a lot about the game itself from your son and the high level that he's played. You still will be able to help him with the things off the court that he hasn't experienced. Now, he's experienced a lot in the NFL, some stuff that me and you will never know about. But
Right.
just, you know, high school rules, dealing with parents, the fact that both of you have been in an active part of the community, I think that'll be an integral part, because as we said before, you have a problem with a kid if you may know his mom or dad. And say, well, let me call his daddy and get this straight. You won't have to worry about this. Let me call his daddy and get it straight. To say too much, but still be there for your son as you've always been.
Well, BJ has a pretty good handle on his people skills. He's learned that once he left Tallahassee, because he's played successfully for Hall of Fame coaches and Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh, so he had that level of experience. That he's been a huddle with a lot of NFL players, and then he has agents that he had to work with. He had player personnel people he had to deal with. He had a lot of intricate piece involvement that he had to learn a great deal to be successful. My part as a dad at this part of his life is to be more or less a support base in regards to not what you need to do, but it's more or less, these are things you may want to consider, you know, in terms of advise him, because at the end of the day, he's going to have to make those decisions, because I'm 61 and he's 30. So there's no way he's going to see what I see at 61. And there's no way I'm going to see what he sees at 30. And so it's got to be kind of a happy balance or a happy medium where he gets his space. He gets his space, and some of the greatest teachers that he's going to have, or the greatest lessons he's going to have is what he's going to experience himself.
Well, BJ, how does it make you feel to hear your dad say what he just said?
It feels good. I mean, you know, not trying to be funny, but he's my dad, so I appreciate, you know, the support of, you know, not only just him, but my sisters and my mother. So my family is his entire support team and system, so I appreciate it.
Be safe. We're going to make sure everybody's safe. And if anybody's even feeling like, you know, high temperature or anything, we're going to send them home and make them quarantine 14 days and stuff like that. So
who home y'all going to send them to?
Contact the people.
EJ can't come to this home if he's sick. I got him.
We promise.
Dang.
If you going to put this football first.
Don't listen to it.
I'm not putting it first. I'm supposed to see.
Anything's go bad, he can always stay with Coach Randolph.
Whoa. I don't know
He
about
got
that.
my side too.
We ain't say that, Coach. You going too far now.
Yeah.
Make sure we're not in contact like that, and make sure that they're not coming home to you guys, because we don't want anybody, you know, being exposed to it going home, and they'll come back. So he's safe, you know, just relax. We got him.
That's between him and his daddy, child, and the Lord.
You know what?
May the Lord cover him, because.
You know what?
Okay. Share with me a moment you had with him, Bruce, when he was growing up, when you really began to realize that he might be something special, but you didn't really want to tell him, because I know you didn't want to tell him too much. But tell me, growing up, when you saw something, you said, "Boy, this boy might be pretty good."
Well, the issue is when BJ was 6 years old, Parks and Rec wouldn't allow kids to play flag football until they were 7 and 8 during that time. And a friend of mine asked me out here, would I allow BJ to play? I said, well, I have no problem playing. And so he played with these older kids. And me and my wife was at the game, his first game, and we saw what was going on as far as flag is concerned. And he was doing pretty good out there. And I said, man, he's only 6 years old. And so that was flag football. And then we transitioned to baseball, and he had a pretty decent arm, and he could throw the ball a little further than most 6 or 7 year olds. say that was pretty good. Then we started playing basketball, which was about around that same time. It just seemed like his motor skills were just a little notch above the average 6 and 7-year-old. So that's when we kind of noticed that that was happening. But the one thing we didn't do, we never really pushed him to do those things. We never, we just kind of we just made sure we got him to the practices and games, and the rest is history. So, but we noticed it back then.
Watching him grow up, did you think that football was his best sport?
He's not going to agree with me, but I thought BJ was going to be a tremendous baseball player. He had fast hands in terms of the bat. He was a contact hitter, strong arm, run the base pads. He played all positions. I just really thought that baseball would eventually be his sport, but then it kind of turned because of his toughness. I saw football creeping in because he was just kind of physically tough. He had a tough mentality. The basketball thing kind of shocked me a little bit because of his aggressiveness and the way he played. So all those things kind of took care of itself. I just thought baseball was going to probably be a sport.
Wow. And see, as we've said, I always thought, there was some argument about him being basketball. I won't compare his shooting ability to his dad's. I'll leave that.
No, I don't. No, I don't do that.
Well, BJ, what word would you give to your kids, your student athletes, when you talk to them? I mean, you've been a role model to a lot of them, and even you persevering through injury is a story to tell to them, to let them know that it doesn't come easy.
Yeah. My main thing is I just want them to be competitive, and you can be competitive in so many different aspects. So, whether I want to compete in the classroom because I want to be one of the top students, you want to be competitive on the football field, to be one of the better guys, and at the end of the day, when it comes to competing, I try to make sure that they understand that, it's not always just about the guy next to you, because this is Tallahassee, but there's another one of you in Lakeland and Orlando and Tampa, and then you can actually extend that all the way out to New York, California, Texas, or Georgia. So just be competitive in all that you do, even overcoming injury. I really had the mindset that I wanted to compete on the next level, so I had to make sure that I was right and ready to go and prepared so that when that time comes or came, which it did, I'm thankful it did, that I could compete and I could be in a position to compete. So I just, from a mindset of just being competitive, I think that's a key thing that a lot of people need to do, and I think it'll help you in life.
Well, from INSiiGHTS, I wish both of you a lot of luck individually and collectively. I watched the Leon girls team get better, and they shocked some people last year. Once they got a taste of that, I know they're gonna go after it even harder because they look like they responded really well to you, Coach.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
And I'm looking forward to BJ with what happens with you at Lincoln, and hopefully that we can get these students back in school in the fall. Getting them academically ready for what they need to do. But INSiiGHTS will be there to support both of you.
All right. Thank you.
Sure will.
And this is Mickey Clayton, the coach. With the second part of this interview, the first one, I didn't hit the record button. These two fine gentlemen right here just kind of laughed at me, but they agreed to do a second interview, and I appreciate it. But we wanted to bring you the story of the Daniels legacy. It's INSiiGHTS High School Game of the Week. We'll be with you. Signing off.
Both teams getting ready to come back out on the floor. We got 3 minutes before we
Lanaya Lee. That's it.
Game of the week, whatever you want to say.
They do, but they're still growing.
Your attention, please.
Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of MAC4 Enterprises a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of MAC4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of MAC4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent the independent thoughts and representation.
Let me interject something real quick before you go. I know you cut it off, but I really want you to know we appreciate you. We really appreciate you, and please keep up what you're doing. And I'm going to continue. I'm sure BJ will do as well. Continue to pray for your strength. You know, not just now in this pandemic, but pray for your strength, because what you are attempting to do, it takes a man of faith, a man of God, to understand that this is very, very vital to our community, what the service that you provide. So I just hope the good Lord keeps you healthy and give you a fresh mind and encouragement, and keep it going, man, because this is so powerful for these kids and these coaches around here to have you as a media link, because media is very, very important. And if you're not doing what you're doing, it doesn't get out. So just keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate that, Bruce.